everybody, and welcome back. It's been a little bit, few weeks since I posted the last episode. You know how me and Karen do it. We got life.
It wouldn't be us if it wasn't like that
you
for right
know.
now.
Um, but we were sending TikToks back and forth to each other, and we got on this conversation, and I was like, we got to record this conversation because I feel like
Yeah,
we are not the only chickadees that struggle with this.
right.
And there's been this kind of up movement of the red pill men, the Andrew Tates of the world, that they're trying to bring back the women belong in the kitchen thing. And it's I think a lot of women are struggling where they're like, well, I'm not quite like an uber feminist, but I'm also not a trad wife. So what's what? And one of the biggest issues I see, excuse me, with women struggling is understanding the difference between kind of submitting and respecting your man, and then there's your man's controlling you. And there's a very fine line between those two. And I get in conversations with Marcus about this all the time, about kind of that difference and where that line gets drawn. And I think it's definitely different for every relationship. Like everyone's a little bit different, but
Mhm.
there's a fine line there between, like, say, like a woman, for example, like a woman that wants to go out with her girls. Now, there's some men that will find that disrespectful. Why are you going to a bar where people are going to hit on you?
Mhm.
Um, if you're already committed. And then there's other people who are like, especially as moms and stuff, it's rare for us to be able to get out. And so a
Mhm.
night with the girls, you're not going, yes, guys might hit on you, but you don't care if they hit on you. You're not interested. You're there to hang out with your girls.
Yeah.
So, and get out of the house. So, what's your opinion, Miss Karen, on the like where that line gets drawn? The difference between he's not letting you go out and he's just feels like it's disrespectful to be in a put yourself in a situation where you may be finagled by other men.
So, first of all, I see so many reels or like TikToks where they're like the title would be like, what he thinks is happening versus what's really happening when I'm out with my friends. Like they're thinking, oh, you're trying to get numbers, you're just trying to get attention, you're trying to what act like you're single at the club. But really, in reality, they're just like acting a fool with their friends. Like that's me. Like that, like what he might be thinking is that's what I'm doing. I'm being single at the club. But like, no, I'm literally acting a freaking fool with my friend. Like I'm literally just and if a guy and if a guy wants to talk to me after I've acted like that, I'm in my zone. I'm being myself. Like I love having fun. I love laughing with my friends. So like we go out, you're gonna literally find me just being ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's nothing
Yeah.
that what they think is really happening at all. But I my last relationship, he was like, if some because we talked about this, like people being in your inbox being like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're sexy, or whatever. Honestly, like if somebody else is telling for me, he said, if somebody else is telling you like you're beautiful, he's like, I get that. You are beautiful. So like I'm not stupid enough to think that nobody's going to tell you that outside of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that difference. But then there's a difference with respect versus control. And I feel like those ones, there has to be a balance in relationships. Like you're in a relationship currently, I'm single, but like if one of you want to go out with your friends, there's that trust. It has to be trust and respect for your partner.
Mhm.
um and I feel like that's where the difference comes into play. Like I forgot where my whole head was going to go with that, but like there's a difference between respect versus control. It means like there we go, it came back to me that you should have balance, of like I have my me time, he has his me time, you know what I mean? And like respecting each other's own personal me time. Maybe his isn't even going out, maybe his is playing the game. That's his me time. But yours is, I need socialization. I'm with these kids. I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
I'm with these kids all day. Like, I need to be with my girl. Like, I want to go out and hang out with my girl and just get out of the house because your me time is out of the house. You know what I mean? So I've heard it's healthy in relationships to have your own time. Some people choose not to, though. Some people, they want to be with their boo 24/7, maybe codependent. I'm not sure. I
I
might
was
come.
gonna say that. I was like, that can become easily dangerous because I feel like when you base all of your happiness on either
Yeah.
on your kids or your husband or whoever, then it can almost become, but maybe not with your kids as much, but especially with the person you're with, it can become easily become really toxic and codependent because
Mhm.
if you're basing all of your happiness on whether or not that person is around, then they're gonna almost feel like they have to be around. And
Yeah.
that kind of circles back to when we did the sex episode, is where you start to unknowingly build resentment for the person because you feel stuck or you feel like you
Mhm.
have to do something or you feel like you can't do something or can't almost be yourself because you're putting everything you do, like you're basing it off of this other person's emotions. And that can
Mhm.
become really unhealthy really fast.
Absolutely. It's like people pleasing. But I, for me, have been in so many, every relationship toxic or narcissistic, like, that we validate our emotions off of the other person, you know. And it's stupid. I saw something on this about the other day. I think it was like, I don't know if it's Instagram or TikTok. Like, it's really dumb and it doesn't make any sense. We will put like our emotion based off of that person's emotion, but yet we're expected to always be happy and energetic and because they're feeding off of ours. But
Mhm.
then they try to take that, and it's just a freaking weird cycle that maybe that's another topic. But like, it kind of, it's a weird thing, but it kind of made me think about that when you said that, because it's like, I don't know. We need to be, we're our own people. We're our own individuals. Like, and if you aren't going to go out because you're afraid of like, or have a social life because you're afraid of what that other person might think or feel, or you're leaving them home alone with the kids, like, because you've been with them all day and all week and 5 days in a row, and you want to have one day by yourself.
Mhm.
I just think that that's just like, it's selfish. It's very selfish. If
Well, and it
that's your
makes you
belief.
wonder, like, it can also be a bit of an ego thing or a
Mhm.
insecurity thing,
That's,
maybe,
yes,
like
that's what I was going to say
that it
earlier.
makes you feel that bad about having, like, maybe just I've never been like a super jealous person, but like for me, if someone's even if someone goes up and flirts with my man, I kind of laugh at it and I'm like, yeah, I have great taste in men. Thank you. Like, you can
Mhm.
look, but you can't touch. Like, I've just never been a super jealous person because I figure like if you're the type of person that's gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat, whether or not I'm up your butt or not. Like you're either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it, and I have to trust that you're not gonna do it. And if you break my trust, then that'll be a different thing. But I'm not gonna automatically always assume the worst because then why are you in the relationship anyway? Like if you can't
Yes.
trust them to leave the house because you're afraid like someone else might look at them, like yeah, if you're with someone that is somewhat decent looking, people are going to be looking, people are going to be trying. There are
Yeah.
people out there that don't respect relationships, but
Period.
you have to be with somebody that you know you can trust that does respect your relationship,
Yeah.
that isn't going to allow it to get past a certain point. People
Yeah.
can hit on me all they want. Are they taking me home or getting a phone number? No.
Exactly.
Thank you for the compliment and go about your day. Like,
Yes. And I feel like it's like, okay, I know that my girl or like my man, depending on what like, looks good. Like, you look good. I mean, shoot, and I know you look good. So it's like, if somebody comes up, I'll be like, you got good taste. Yeah, but bye boo. I mean, and I will, and you're different than me because you're like, yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I know. No, I okay, now bye bye. Like, bye. Okay, like, goodbye. Um, that's enough. Uh, but I feel like if your partner is being like insecure about it or controlling, because it could come from a different, it could either be insecure or controlling, but I think insecurity plays in both of it. Um, that's what it is. Ultimately, that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
what, and the trust. It's either, okay, so you don't trust me, and if there's no trust, we have a problem. Or you're feeling a little bit insecure. Let's talk about this. Tell me your concerns. Tell me why you feel how you feel about me going out with my friend tonight. And if they really know you, like you know me, um, I'm gonna be out here acting up. Like, so like if you know how I am, it shouldn't be any different whether you're with me or not. When we're together, I respect you. If somebody comes up and says hi, you're gonna get the same reaction from me as you would if I'm with my girl. Period. You know what I mean? It don't matter if he's there or if he's not there. That's how it's gonna be for me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it definitely all depends on the person, but you know, and it's open communication with that too. Like it's like there was a time where I was going out with my girls and stuff a little more than I usually did. And Marcus was cool with it, but he was like, "Could you just come home a little sooner? Like instead of being up out till 2 or 3 in the morning where it's a little bit dangerous out there and people are driving drunk and so much and so forth, be home by like midnight or something." And I'm like, okay, like that's a reasonable request. He's not saying you're
Yeah.
never allowed to leave the house. He's just saying, can you not be out to the wee hours of the morning when there's dangerous people out? And that, like that I can respect. And that, there's a conversation like, okay, what is it that makes you uncomfortable? And then try and find a
Yeah.
middle ground.
That's where you communicate and you talk about it. Like I remember my oldest and her girlfriend was going to go out and do something. And, I went to him and was like, hey, they asked me to go with them. How you feel about that? And he's like, my only thing is I'm not with you to protect you right now. So he's like, I have no worries. I trust you, but I'm not there with you. So that's where I'm kind of like, I'd rather you not because I'm not there to protect you right now and I can't come be where you're at or whatever. So there was that situation. So I do respect that, but in the same thing, things happen everywhere. It
Yeah.
don't matter what time of night it is. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel that though. I feel that. And I feel like the whole reasonable time, I don't know. Oof. Yeah. I don't
Well,
know. I'm trying to come at it from both sides because honestly, I don't know. Sometimes a lot of the stuff, I mean, at least around here. So back in the day when we used to go out, stuff didn't happen until 1 o'clock. People didn't start showing up until 1 o'clock. Like, how do you want me to come home in a reasonable time? And I get it. I'm not there for everybody else, but like, I'm there
I
with
think
my
it depends on what
friends.
area you're into. Like, I live in a
Yeah.
small town, so the bars here close. I mean, most of the stuff in town closes at like 9, and then the bars, you're lucky if they're open at till midnight. Like, I think there's one bar that stays open till like 1, and it's like the ghetto bar.
What? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, girl. I mean, I posted this the other day because I worked till 3 a.m. the other day, and I was like, this could not be the same person. Like, I would literally be like the clubs didn't close till 2 and I was out and like sometimes we would go do things afterwards and I'd maybe get home 4 or 5, go sleep a little bit. Don't judge me. I'd go to church and I'm like, this could not be the same person because baby, that 3 o'clock hit different. Like
Yeah.
I was still going at 3. No, I was ready to go home at 3.
See,
So
I
yeah,
was the opposite. I was such a goody two shoe. Like, I don't think. Like I was the one my friends would make fun of because we'd get home from the bar at 2, 3 in the morning and I'd be ready to go to bed and they were all still wanting to party. And then
yeah,
these crazy chicks would be up at like 7 when they didn't go to bed till 4.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they would make fun of me for sleeping till 10. And I'm like,
yeah.
we went to bed 3 hours ago. Like, what do you
I
mean?
yes, yes, yes. No, and it never hit me. It would never really phase me. Like I literally had 3 hours of sleep. Now, when I have 3 hours of sleep, I'm like, oh my God, I had 3 hours of sleep last night, man. Like I'd be so mad at the world. Like I value my sleep now. I don't know how I did it back then, but I value my sleep. And like it was funny. I was telling the kids, or well, that's bad to say. I was telling the kids about this the other day. I was telling my oldest, one of my older kids about this. Okay. Don't come for me. She's 20. And I was like, I would literally like, I was going to nursing school. So I would be like typing a paper and my friends back here straightening my hair. Like, because we knew we couldn't go out. This is totally off topic of what we started with, but we knew we couldn't go out until my work was done. Like if my homework, y'all, I'd be like, y'all, my homework, I got to do this paper first. Like I got to type this paper. And if my paper wasn't done, we wasn't going nowhere.
Mhm.
So if they had to wait for me to get my paper done and get ready, I was always the last person ready. So they would be back here doing my hair, picking out my outfit, and I'm all right, send, and we would hit the club. But anyways, back to that whole thing.
Hey, you were
Um,
dedicated at least, man.
I was, and they knew better. Like they knew, like, okay, because even, ooh, do I want to say this? So even like driving home from the club, uh, my one friend always drove, no matter, listen, how intoxicated she would always drive because they knew like Karen can't, she can't get nothing. She's in nursing school. Like she wouldn't be able to be a nurse. Like she wouldn't graduate. She'd lose whatever. So I would have gotten in trouble and I would have been kicked out the program if I had any DUI, whatever. So she was always the driver. So bad. So
Taking one
bad.
for the team. We don't recommend this. People do not drink
No,
and drive.
no, definitely not promoting that. Lord Jesus. It was so bad, but that's how it was. And it was like that for the whole time I went to school. Like some of the stories that I could tell, oh my God. But anyway, um,
Oh,
off topic a little
yeah,
bit about that.
always with us.
Yeah, it is.
But it just like some of those TikToks I've been seeing where these guys are like, we don't, it's not respectful for a woman to be on social media because it makes her think that she's too accessible, or it makes her think that has access to people who she normally wouldn't have access to or whatever. And they'll, I want my woman's not allowed to have social media. She gotta be at home with the kids. And it's like, it's taken this weird turn. Like, I'm pretty conservative leaning, but it's not that direction. Like, I will let out my inner feminist if you try and tell me that I'm not allowed to have social media and a phone, and that all I am meant to do is change dirty diapers and make food. Like,
No,
that is not
not
my
gonna work.
entire life.
Not gonna work for me. I'm not gonna lie. I think my ex was super happy when my social media went down. My social media went down October. And I feel like in a way it was kind of like a lightweight felt like he was a little relieved. He's a little bit of a narcissist, maybe not a little, is a lot. And
You have a inkling towards those.
yeah, we're not going to talk about that in 2024. Well, we'll talk about it, but it's not going to be in 2024. Okay.
Bet.
Um, so, and I was like, I felt, because then he shows me this reel on his Facebook that he made, and I thought the picture only went to me. Oh, how naive I was. Of him, of a workout picture, and he's like, posing, and I'm like, oh, okay, baby. And then shows me a reel that he did that he posted to his Facebook, and I'm like, oh, so you put that, you just showed everybody. Okay. So I was a little upset about that. Well, he goes, well, you do it. The pictures that I post for the business are totally different than that. Okay, maybe let's see what you think. When we post our before and afters, we're in health and wellness. If you've been following us for a while, you know that. The pictures, before and after pictures we post, and that you've seen mine, I will be like underwears, tops, whatever, or bathing suit bottoms, workout shorts, whatever the case may be, to show before and after.
Yeah.
If you watched any of our episodes, you know that we both have diastasis recti and things like that. So he's like, well, I mean, you do it. And I'm like, that's different. So just different. Like, I'm doing it for my business. And I don't know, shit, am I controlling? I don't know. But I was like, you're over there, and I'm like, are you naked down there? Yeah. I don't know. Tell me, am I controlling? Because I was like, if Marcus did that, and he's all flex and there, I mean, it's different. He didn't have no shirt on. And I don't
I
know.
mean, like I said, I'm not a super jealous person, so it wouldn't bother me. But um on that flip side, when it comes to like how you felt about it, for me, the equivalent wouldn't be you taking the weight loss photos, because usually those aren't the world's most flattering photos. It's usually like, this is me chunky and this is me after losing some weight. Like,
Yeah.
like they're not
I still have stretch marks and saggy skin, bro.
like they're not pictures where we're trying to like be
Flex on people.
seducing.
Yeah.
But for me, like the equivalent of him flexing and taking off his shirt and showing all the muscles would be like all those boudoir pictures you took last year. If
Yeah.
you had posted all of them
Yeah.
and were putting them into a reel, that would be kind of the
Pretty much.
equivalent to me.
That's what I thought. I'm like, you're over here thirst trapping right now. Like, you're literally thirst trapping. And I only say that because, okay, this might be another topic for another day. You might want to write this one down. Because is it okay for you to still be friends with, in social media friends, outside friends, social media friends with somebody you've slept with in a relationship? Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that another day. Stay tuned. But
That'll be a good one.
I know, because I know for a fact he still had somebody who he was talking to before me on his Facebook, and you over here, you know what I'm saying? Throwing it up. And I hate when guys throw up the middle finger. Hate, 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 hate when guys put up the middle finger. Tell me what you think. I'm like, but I know that you're thirst trapping right now. Like,
Mm.
why does everybody need to see that? And it was like other good photos of him, but he threw that in there. Why couldn't you just had just your good pictures of you looking good, dressed up? Why did you have to throw that one in there? I know you're feeling yourself right now, but when I post the pictures of me, I don't post a lot of pictures of me like half naked. I don't do that. They're usually my befores and my afters, and the rest are me
Normal.
clothed.
Yeah.
Like, and I just, anyway, but I mean, he cheated anyway. So, he's thirst trapping. That maybe I'm just being negative about that. Maybe there was nothing going on, but the fact that he was who he was, I don't know. It could have been innocent. It could have been innocent. That's just how I feel. He could have kept that out. He could have just sent it to her herself.
I mean,
Ah!
yeah, I feel like there's this new wave taking over. It's like almost as like a response to the super feminists that like wanted to do OnlyFans and all this stuff. It's like in response to that, you got these super red pill dudes that are like, "Oh, women belong in the kitchen," and I'm like, "Look, buddy, now, like," but those are the ones that I feel like you can really easily start blurring that line between respect and control, because to them it's all respect. Like, you don't go
Absolutely.
somewhere where you're gonna get hit on because it's disrespectful to me. And you don't wear certain outfits like this because it's disrespectful to me. And you don't post stuff on social media where someone might comment on it because it's disrespectful to me. And to them, it's all a respect thing. But the reality is they are trying to, in a way, control everything that you do. And respect in a relationship is something that has to be a give or take. So it's like, okay, then you're not on social media either. Okay, then you're
Yeah.
going to work and coming right home. And
Right.
you're not going to have
Yeah.
any nights out with the boys, no drinking
Yeah.
and watching football games. Like,
Have it that way. Yeah. Period. But that's not
we're all
healthy,
just
I
going
think.
to be up each other's ass all the time, which, yeah,
Yeah.
like you're saying, is
It's
not
not healthy.
healthy.
But we also talked about this before. I know there was another podcast that we did where we talked about like male roles. Was it us or was it the other one I did? The male roles and the female roles and like,
Oh, we talked
why?
about that kind of in the masculinity episode. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, I thought so. I'm like, why is it like male specific roles or female specific? Like for me, being a single mom and being single forever and shit relationships in between, situationships in between, like I mow my own lawn. That's not, there's no male to do that. I have to step into that. And that comes to what we were talking about earlier is, ooh, I'm gonna put it out there because we have to bring it because we have to bring it because we haven't been bringing it. I have heard several times, and each time by a narcissistic controlling person, that like one of my daughter's dad was like, you're so used to being masculine, like you don't know how to be feminine. And then my last whatever was like, the only time you're submissive is in the bedroom. And I'm just putting myself out there right now. Those were his feelings. I don't really think that was 100% correct. I do agree that it became very submissive in that personal situation. However, help me to not have to always be there. There's this whole soft girl era, and I feel like it kind of comes into play with this whole control thing. Like women want to be in their soft girl era, but they're unable to actually be that way. Like I feel like men nowadays, they want to have that control, but what are you doing? Like, believe me, I want to be in my soft girl era. I want you to have some kind of control, but a healthy control. There's a difference. There's a difference. There's like unhealthy, toxic,
protect and provide control.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm about. The other stuff, the toxic, unhealthy control, keep it, but there is, I feel like a sense of, but control and respect, like control and respect, where I don't really feel like it's controlling for them to say, but just come home at a reasonable time, babe, if you can, like, and you communicate that. Yeah. Because that comes with respect. Isn't that really control when there's that respect and that trust? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And then, these guys just, I think it's this generation of men that are coming up where they want and we've talked about this before, like where they want the old school woman without being the old school man. And it's like,
period. You can't have it both ways, boo. You can't have it both ways. You either want it this way or you want it that way. And if I'm going to do this, then guess what, boo? You're going to do it too.
Yeah. And it's a give and take. If you want the trad wife, then you're going to need to go to work the full hours, come home every day, make enough money to pay the bills, and make enough money to pay for the makeup and the hair products and everything else I got to put on to make myself look nice, and all the groceries for the kids, and you're paying for all that if you want that trad wife. And now, was it easier back then? Yeah, because everything cost a lot less, so it was easier to have a one-parent household. And that's harder today.
Yeah.
But you have to take that into account too. If it's too hard for you guys to be a one-parent household, then or a one-income household, then you need to take that into account and know that you're not going to get that completely traditional trad wife or whatever because your situation just doesn't call for it right now. And like maybe down the line, one of you gets a great promotion or whatever, and she can become that for you. But if you both have to work, if you're both doing something, then the other responsibilities need to be shared as well. But that's where that masculine energy kind of comes in for the woman, is because when I have to do the job and I still have to come home and be the woman, then what are you like? What this would almost be easier without you.
Period. And that's where I was watching a TikTok earlier and she was like, all right, let me get this straight for you guys. Because a lot of her TikToks are her like preparing meals for her husband and what she does at home. Yeah. And she's like, let me just set this straight. She's like, I am not a single married woman. Like, she's like, I work too. So, and my husband works full time, she's like, so we both like, if I don't always feel like cooking when I come. She said she gets home earlier than her husband, so she will prep dinner. Now, if there's days where she's like, I'm not really feeling it today, babe, he'll pick something up. I mean, she didn't say he cooked anything, But I mean, he'll pick it up. He'll pick it up. And she's like, and we both pitch in with nighttime duties because then we have time together at the end of the night. So
Hmm.
the sooner we get those things done, baths, dinner, homework,
Clean up the
that's time that,
toys. Yeah.
yes, that's time that we have together. She's like, so don't get it twisted. Just because I don't show that side all the time, like it doesn't mean that that's not what's happening. You know, we pitch in together. He helps me get things done, then we have our me time. Hello, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And you should understand that both the people, I'm going to say it that way, in this relationship should have that agreement of, hey, let's get this done so that way we can have time together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it like I said, it's a big communication thing. And I would
Absolutely.
just, I would urge women out there to just be careful because a lot of these guys that are kind of giving off the more masculine energy, the more provider energy, be wary, like get to know
They
them.
lying. Just kidding. Sorry.
Some of them might be. But get to know them. Get to know them really well before you move in, before you start to give up some of your freedoms, some of your
Mhm.
independence. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to give that up and become sort of submissive to your man. That's fine. That's naturally what most women want to do, but
Mhm.
wait and make sure it's a man worth getting it because you see a lot of that wolf in sheep's clothing thing where it's like after
Uh-huh.
you move you see this a lot with like women who were victims of domestic violence.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
mask comes off.
once you're living together and they start to, okay, well, why don't you stay home with the
Mhm.
kids instead of working, and why don't
Mhm.
you do this, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're completely relying on them and you can't leave.
Yes, the financial control, that financial control. And I told him like I have no problem being submissive at all. Like and I'm a good woman, period. Like I think some people get it twisted when they try to say like a good woman does this and does that and puts their man first and you can still be a good woman without being controlled
Hmm.
over somebody. And I think, like you said, oh, and we've talked about this before, a lot of the times that women don't leave in a relationship is because of that financial control. They don't have their own income. They're like, what am I going to do now? You know, they've been dependent, you know, and so you definitely need to be aware, excuse me, of that. You know, there's balance. There is. Healthy relationships do exist. Don't take it from me, but I mean, I think it's out there.
It's
I
out
don't
there, you just have to be
seen it on social media, but social media is not always
you
true
have to
either.
be
So
no, social media ain't true at all
it's
half
a
the time,
lie.
but
It's all a freaking
you just
lie.
have to be observant and really get to know
Yeah.
people before you get into bed with them, get to know them before you move in with them,
And
really
talk.
get to know people, communicate, bring up issues right away that you're having so you can see how they respond to it. If they, if
Yeah.
you start to see some anger, if you start to see some twisting, if you start to see like by the end of the conversation, you're the one apologizing instead of them,
Ooh,
take that stuff as red flags that maybe that's not the
yes.
person for you. So
Yes.
I would just
And
say, especially getting into bed with them, be careful before you get into bed with them because once you pop out those babies, you're stuck with them.
heard, not really. I'm not gonna read mine. But like what was you saying that really was like bro? Oh yeah. And talking about your feelings should not be an argument. Like
Yeah.
if you're communicating about these things and it turns into a whole argument, and like my girl said, now you're the one like, oh, I'm sorry. What you sorry for? Those are your feelings. Those are things that are important to you. Your boundaries are healthy, healthy boundaries. You need those. So, like, if it's a whole big thing that the fact that you brought something up and now you guys are arguing over it, girl, bye.
Yeah. But
Goodbye.
let us know in the comments what you guys think. What's the difference between respect and control, a healthy versus unhealthy relationship,
Mhm.
codependency? Are you for the red pill men or are you against
Oops.
them? Um, we have a
Yeah.
really fun episode coming up. There's this TikToker that I absolutely love, Diana Badea. She is also a musician, has some really good music out there if you guys want to listen to it. But we're gonna do a fun reaction video to some of the stuff and some of her TikToks just for a fun episode because she's funny
Yeah.
and she's quirky and she's got some good comebacks. So our next episode will be fun, and then I think the episode after that we'll do that what you had brought up um before.
Okay. I don't remember already. Isn't that horrible? So my brain just like so many things. I'm sure you'll tell me.
Girl. But let us know what you guys think. As always, we appreciate you guys for listening, all our subscribers. We promise that we're gonna be a little more free
Consistent.
consistent, yeah, with our
Faithful.
stuff. The 2023 was just a
Shit show.
roller coaster of a year, and 2024 is gonna be our year. This is
Yeah.
it. Fit Trends is gonna take off to the moon, man. Okay.
Yeah. Shit show
We're
for
gonna be
this
on
person.
Spotify. I'm speaking it out.
It was hard. It was a hard year. If y'all don't know, I think we did a podcast app since then. Well, yeah, we had to have. Yeah, I don't want to go back to 2023 at all. No, thank you.
We're gonna shut that door and leave it there, and 2024 is
Period.
gonna be it. But we love you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. It helps with the
Yes.
algorithm, and we appreciate you guys. So we will see you next time.